It's like, as far as he doesn't tell Bast what he's trying to do, and obviously we know Kvothe doesn't have. It doesn't seem like he has access to his sympathy. He doesn't have access to his ADM fighting skills. It doesn't seem like he has access to his powers, and so he's just relying on just basically brute strength and athleticism. It says that he says to Bast in the second book, he's like, I chose that spot in time specifically, so there might be something to that. That it's maybe that the bar, inside the bar, is holding him back, and maybe when he was outside the bar at night, like, maybe that he had more access to his power, but it doesn't seem like he uses. We don't know what he used, because fucking Chronicler, we're in Chronicler's head, and Chronicler fucking gets knocked out right away, so we don't see Kvothe fight. But he does mention, like, I chose that time and spot specifically, so there might be something to that.
What could he possibly mean, Dan? Because it seems like the Skrael been attacking people in the town. He happened to have a chance to get that bone or that leg or whatever to attract him, right? Isn't that why he did it?
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is, like, the fact that he's like tells Bast later on. I think it's in book 2. Yeah, it's definitely in book 2. It's after he gets his ass kicked by those 2 guards, and Bast is like, "How the fuck could you let those 2 guards beat you up?" And then Bast is like, "You just beat 5 Skrael the other day," and he's like, "I chose that time and spot specifically."
Oh, can I chime in about that, Dan? Could it be a full moon or something? Because isn't when the full moon in the Fae what Florian says?
I don't remember any mention of a moon in this chapter.
No, not in this chapter. I'm just saying Florian says that, there's something to when the Fae is open, or when you can get back and forth through the moon. So maybe that's what he means. Like, I don't know what he could have drawn from the Fae, but
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, like, there's no mention of the moon, so that doesn't mean that it can't be the moon. It's just there's no mention of the moon in this chapter, so I don't know that he chose this time because of the moon. Could be, but I don't remember any mention of the moon in this chapter, so I don't know. But
what do you think it could be, though?
Well, I don't know. It could have just been that it was just like an offhand comment, or it could be that if he's outside of the bar, maybe just outside of the bar at night or whatever, like, then he has access to his abilities. Whereas if he's in that bar, he doesn't have access to his abilities. It could be that. It could have just been a throwaway line. It's tough to say. We don't have enough information. But it's weird that he said that.
Well, like, as far as Kvothe telling the story and where he's at power-wise at the end, he should not have been able to kill those Skrael. So it had to have something to do with it. There's, you know what I mean? I agree with you that it definitely had to have something to do with timing, or, I don't know, maybe preparation. But how did Kvothe, transition to Kvothe? I don't know.
I don't know how easy it is to kill a Skrael either. We haven't seen one killed in front of us. Maybe just whacking it over the head with an iron bar is able to kill him. I mean, it's not like he came away unscathed. He got fucked up. He ended up getting like 50 stitches or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got fucked up. So, like, it doesn't mean that he did have access to his powers. I bring it up only because it raises questions, and it's not a clear explanation that maybe he just, like, chose that spot because it was far enough away from the town, and he was able to put his back up against the wall. Maybe that's why he chose the spot. Maybe he chose that spot because if he leaves the bar, he has access to his powers again. That could be a reason. We just don't know the answer.
Yeah, and either way, what we do know is the Skrael are formidable foes, and Kvothe had to turn into Kvothe. He had to become something that we haven't seen so far in order to just all of a sudden up and kill these things like no problem. We do figure out how.
Well, he
how
didn't kill him
formidable
with
they
no
are,
problem. He had
Yeah,
a
I was about
major
to
fucking
say,
problem. He got fucked up, but
Yeah,
he did kill him.
I didn't mean no problem. I'm
it's
saying 5 of
interesting
them,
though.
though. You kill 5 of them.
When Chroniclers comes up on him, it does seem like Kvothe is different. He's a lot more assertive. He seems like he's there for a purpose. He knows what he's getting himself into, and he seems ready. You know what I mean? I kind of wonder when you talk about the bar, maybe the bar has some power over him. I wonder if there's something like a gram contained, but something different where it's hiding him, which saps away his powers or something. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I could see something like that in terms of why that line of what he mentioned, like what he's suggesting to Bast, obviously by saying that is he chose the circumstances, he chose where he was going to be, he chose the time, so he knew what they were fighting. He was fighting on his own terms, it seems. But I mean, it is his bar, right? It's not like he's not familiar with those, that terrain. He's obviously familiar with it. It's his bar, so it's interesting that you're pitting those two things against one another in that explanatory circumstance.
So if I could just throw another maybe red herring out there, could it have something to do with the house that the burned out house that he chooses to fight them in?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's much circumstance. There's not much suggested to give us reason to suspect much about it. Personally,
they don't say anything about the house other than it's just like a burned out, an abandoned, crumbled house, like which just a couple open walls, obviously to the sky, like so. It just seems like a dilapidated house, but it doesn't say anything that would give us clues that there's importance to the house.
Yeah,
good. I mean, he could write it that way, but the fact that he didn't, after the fact, he could go and backtrack and lend importance to it, in book 3. But he doesn't lend any importance to it in this chapter, obviously.